You know how we do when we have funky music in our ear. We get to writing, ain't no fighting, we just in there trying to win. Ooh yeah, la-di-da, we grinding hard. Ooh yeah, we not gonna stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Too late to turn back now. I got work to do. On a mission, by my business, I'm pushing through.
Hello, sports fans. I'm Nicholas Austin Holiday here with
Antoine Jackson from Between Classes Sports.
and Antoine. What a crazy weekend we just had in college football.
Every week.
Week 11, a crazy week. A lot of ranked teams playing. That's one of those weekends where you had to sit on the couch and watch football all day long.
Well, I know what you mean by that. Definitely. I know what you mean. Definitely with that.
But you know what? I mean, we'll talk about a couple of those games, but mainly we're going to get into some of the predictions for Week 12 and, just kind of give our predictions and see what we think is going to happen for the upcoming games.
Okay.
But we'll start off. What do you think about the upcoming game between Florida and South Carolina? How do you think they both look this season?
Well, Florida's a tale of two tales this year. In the beginning, they came out with Jeff Driscoll. Many Florida Gator fans were upset about this from day one, saying that they felt like they didn't have a chance with Driscoll at the helm. They wanted Treon Harris. Treon finally got his shot. They look like two different teams with two different quarterbacks. What do you think about it?
Well, what I think is that I think the team kind of quit on Jeff Driscoll. I think they didn't want to play for him anymore. I think that they brought Treon Harris in. Harris gave them the spark that they needed. If you look at the stats, it's not like Harris has been producing on a crazy level, especially through the air. He's been, running the ball for the most part and handing it off. But I think he's given the team a big spark that they need. And they've been leaning on Kelvin Taylor and Matt Jones.
Heavy.
And they've been running down people's throat.
Well, one thing I think with Treon Harris, I don't think they're opening up the playbook like that. You can tell they're being very vanilla with the playbook. They're not calling certain plays. I mean, from when Treon does throw the ball, I haven't really seen him all the way, actually, but I've seen bits and pieces. But when he does throw the ball, I know he has a pretty high completion percentage. And also, he is a dual threat. He came from Booker T. Washington High School, one of the more prestigious high schools when it comes to football in America. So he took the team. They won a national championship last year. Then they won back-to-back state championships.
Yeah, they actually won two.
They won two. So he comes from a very well programmed. His dad's a coach. His brother played cornerback for Miami. Was in the NFL for a while. And Treon is the real deal. He went through his little situation early in the year, got that taken care of, and he has not lost as a starter. Matter of fact, he brought him back to win against Tennessee. That's when a lot of this stuff started. So it looks like he should have been a quarterback from day one, personally. I don't know what was going on in Gainesville. I know you might want to try to win with Driscoll, but in the SEC, you got seniors on the roster. Muschamp job is on the line still.
Definitely.
Due to being faithful to Driscoll, right now his job is on the line.
I'm curious to see, when it comes to Florida, I want to see what happens when you slow their run down and you force them to have to throw the ball 20, 30 times a game. I mean, we've seen him throw it a couple of times, and he's made some good completions, he's made some bad throws. But when you make that team, when they have to lean on the pass and the run, and they can't just run for 400-plus yards like they did against Georgia, what happens? Is Treon the type of quarterback that can throw the ball 20 times a game, that can command the offense from under center? I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. At Booker T, like you say, he was a dual threat quarterback. He was great. But we haven't seen him on the college level yet.
Well, I think with Treon, I think he can. I mean, he had offers from Florida State. He had offers from Auburn. He had offers from Miami. He had offers from pretty much everybody. So as far as him being able to, you don't get offers like that from not being able to throw the ball. And plus, he's from the area of Miami where these guys, Teddy Bridgewater can throw the rock. Rakeem Cato can throw the rock for Marshall. Thaddeus Lewis can throw the rock. These boys usually have a cannon. They can throw the rock. Even Jeffrey Godfrey can throw the rock, but Blake Bortles came, and that was a different scenario. They moved him to the receiver. But as far as can he throw, for the most part, these guys are groomed to read the defense and study and make sure they get the ball to the open receiver. So, I mean, I think he can throw the ball pretty well. I mean, the background history usually shows that. So, I don't think there's no reason why he can't. It's just I don't know if Gainesville is ready to handle this young man taking it to that next level. Because he's used to winning. He's not coming to lose. He hasn't really lost in high school. He never lost in 2 years. He comes to Gainesville, he probably experienced more losses than he probably ever experienced in high school. But he feels like he's not with that type. He's not with losing. I can tell that already. He's not with that.
And you know they're playing South Carolina. Steve Spurrier, one of the greats from Florida. Steve Spurrier in South Carolina right now are not good. I look for Florida. You know what? I don't think Florida's gonna have to open up the playbook. I think that Florida's gonna be able to run the ball down South Carolina's throat, just like they did to Georgia. I would like to think that South Carolina's gonna come out with a better game plan. Maybe put a couple more people in the box, one high safety, you know, just to kind of stack the box a little bit and force them to throw some. Unlike Georgia, still not sure why Georgia left two safeties high all game and let them run down their throat. But you know what? I'm not judging Jeremy Pruitt because he makes more money than me.
Pruitt.
All I'm saying is I would have brought a safety down, or I would have kept one safety high. I would have done something because your pride is on the line when you let a team run for over 400 yards against you. So that's just me.
Well, I think with the Georgia-Florida game, you know, when Florida's running the ball, you know, a lot of Florida fans, they kind of enjoyed that because Florida had lost a few games to Georgia consecutively. And that was, remember that one year, Georgia, when they scored a touchdown, that whole team went to the goal line and started dancing around.
Yep.
So when the Florida Gators, when they got their hands on their throat that night, they really squeezed. Kelvin Taylor, he had a nice game. That was his coming out party against Georgia. You see the kid had a great big smile on his face. Matt Jones basically had a slight coming out game against Georgia. So now you got two backs in the SEC at Florida that people are kind of interested in seeing. Kelvin had a good game also. He was highly recruited out of high school, so a lot of people have been waiting to see, you know, that's Fred Taylor's son. His father was a great, excellent running back from the University of Florida and played for Jacksonville. Everybody knows Fred Taylor. So now Junior is doing this thing at Daddy's old school and, you know, bringing some old smiles back a little bit. So they want to see what's going on with Steve Spurrier coming to the Swamp. You know, I'm quite sure he's going to have his guys ready to understand that, you know, if you don't come here to play, Muschamp is going to run you out of here if he can. You know, he has running game going right now. It came along later. The defense, I like the defense. The defense never was a question. You know, even though they had the one kid who decided to catch the Greyhound bus.
Leon Orr is a defensive tackle for
Why?
Florida. That when he found out he wasn't starting, he got back on the team bus and went back to Gainesville. Said he wasn't playing.
I heard it was a Greyhound bus. The team bus can't leave with just him on the bus. I heard it was Greyhound.
Muschamp told him, if you get on that bus and leave, you're off the team. He got on the bus and left.
Why would you get on the bus and leave?
You know what? Everybody's not built for this type of sport. You know what? He thought he should have been a starter. I personally think he shouldn't have been a starter. And that's why he's not on the team anymore.
Well, I mean, even though you want to starter, you still getting playing time. You got free meals every day. You know, you're living in a nice situation. You're on campus. You don't just get on the bus and ride home. Greyhound, what were they at? Vanderbilt, Tennessee? You catch the bus from Tennessee to Florida. Let me tell you something, kids. Don't do that. That's a no-no. Whether you're upset or not, don't get on the bus and leave. It's a game next week. Scouts are still coming to the practices. Scouts are still watching the game at home, watching it on ESPN. You can perform well and still make it to the NFL. Everybody in the NFL were not starting in college. Don't get on the bus and go home because now he might be having some character issues right now. Not saying they won't give him a shot, but don't do that. That's not a good look. It's not a good look at all.
So is it safe to say that you're going to pick Florida to beat South Carolina?
Yeah. I don't go against the state if it's out of state guys. I'm Floridian. Yeah, Treon Harris, Kelvin Taylor. I seen his daddy play. Matt Jones, Tampa native. You know, you got your boy Dante Fowler, St. Pete.
A monster off the edge.
Hargraves Island.
Hargraves, one of the best pure cover corners.
I've seen in a while. He got game. He's nice.
One of the best pure cover corners in college football.
Yeah,
lovely kid. Great athlete.
South Carolina got some boys too, you know, Steve Spurrier, but I think if Steve Spurrier loses game the way he loses, he might want to get ready for retirement. He might be getting ready for retirement. If South Carolina wins, Muschamp seat is a little hotter. If Muschamp loses, the seat's a little harder. If he wins, you know, Steve Spurrier might be considering that retirement home in Florida. You know, it's like, hey Steve, you know, you if you don't win against the Gators, you'll never win the SEC, ever.
They never have. They might not ever. I don't know. We'll see how things go. So let's move on. What do you think about the USF SMU game coming up?
USF, it's hard to put a pulse on USF. You know, they had to come from behind win against someone that was Tulane,
Yes.
and then they go and play Cincinnati. Or was it not Cincinnati? Was it Cincinnati? It was Cincinnati.
They have played Cincinnati.
Cincinnati pretty much got a little physical with USF. It was athlete on athlete. Well, Cincinnati has a lot of Florida kids on the team. They pretty much had their way. Andre Davis had a good game, but you know he had a little circumstance or what have you. Hopefully, Dre get it together, please. Let's keep those things, keep calm with that. Think about the next level now. But they're playing SMU now. This is a game USF should win now. Don't win this game, USF. It's gonna be some problems because SMU is not good, guys.
SMU is horrible.
All right.
SMU is horrible, and they don't have a coach.
And I don't know why we having this conversation about USF like this because I'm a little nervous right now. But y'all better not blow this game. And y'all on the road to SMU, don't blow this game is all I got to say because, they have a freshman in there with Marlon Mack at the tail position. He's been looking pretty good. Freshman from Immokalee. And I know they have another freshman over there. But you just need to come out with a victory, something to build on. Really, people are waiting on the game against UCF later on this year. It should be a nice showdown. Everybody think UCF has the edge in that one. USF needs to win this game. They need to start getting some things rolling a little bit. They didn't have a good showing against Houston, to say the least. And then Houston, when they lost this week against Tulane or Tulsa, I think Tulane beat Houston this weekend.
I believe so.
Yeah, Houston lost this weekend to Tulane, so that lets me know somebody's. I don't know who's sleeping. But somebody needs to get it together, definitely. We need to get some production and get some highlights out there. USF football.
The growth of your program shows in beating the teams that you should beat. So USF needs to win that game. We're not going to stay on it. They need to win the game.
They need to win
bottom
the game.
line.
Yeah, bottom line.
They better win the game. That's how we'll put it. Good luck to USF. So we have UCF, Tulsa. I'm going to go UCF in that game.
UCF, they should win. They've been looking a little shaky lately. I don't know what's going on over there in Orlando, but they haven't been this well. They lost a lot with Burroughs and Storm Johnson.
Lost a lot of talent.
They lost a lot of talent, so maybe they're young. So I can give O'Leary that. Maybe they're young.
At this point in the season, you're not young anymore, though. At this point in the season, you're a sophomore.
Yeah, they're a sophomore.
Even if you're a freshman in the classroom, by this point in the season, when the season is almost over, you're a sophomore. Play like it.
They need to win. They need to keep winning, but you can tell the type of players they're getting at UCF, they're getting a better grade of recruits right now. You can tell that win over Baylor, when you look at them play, you can tell, okay, the recruits is upgraded a little bit from UCF from back a little in the early years to right now. They're getting a couple of studs over there. You don't know who they are, but even their quarterback doesn't look too bad. The young guy they have back there right now, so they have a lot of facilities over there. State school, they have their own campus, rich tradition, a lot of talent throughout the state. Your Florida 2-stars, maybe an 8-star in Alaska. They're 8-star in New York.
Somewhere between 8 and 10.
He's a half-star in Florida. He goes to New York. He's a 7-star.
Oh, most definitely. That's the type of talent Florida produces. You got to get that talent into your school. So we're going to go with UCF in this game over Tulsa. FIU, Middle Tennessee State. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't know why FIU got rid of Mario Cristobal. You don't get rid of one of the best coaches that your football team has ever had.
So Mario got fired?
Mario
Tell me Mario walked away.
No, Mario did not walk away.
FIU has no right to fire anybody.
They got rid of Mario. And you know what Mario's doing right now?
He's an Alabama staff.
Mario's at Alabama, coaching the offensive line, playing with a level of talent that he never saw.
Nick Saban grabbed Mario so fast it didn't make any sense.
Dade County recruiter.
He grabbed Mario so fast it was before he could even consider him coaching UM. He was already packed up in Alabama, living a life.
Saban knows what
Saban,
it is to build a top-notch coaching staff. and he was so smart to jump on Mario, so you can have that South Florida recruiter that can come down to South Florida and say, "This is why you should leave Miami, West Palm, Belgrade, all those places, and go to Alabama."
Did FIU ever play Alabama when he was coaching FIU? It seems like they did some type of way.
I remember them playing them one year and they got beat down.
They probably, you know what probably happened? Nick probably played FIU, seen some recruits, said, "I like what I see." You know, Alabama still beat him down, but it probably was a fight to the end. You never know how it happened. One of those backyard brawls.
He probably saw that. He probably said, "This coach has a good game
He's
plan."
a good game plan, and then once he seen Mario's fight, he probably called Mario, because it was not long. Cristobal was on the market. Nick grabbed him immediately.
Exactly. But that's why Nick Saban's one of the best.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
So we have FIU, which plays Middle Tennessee State, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Your FAU?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on with FAU right now.
I don't know either.
FAU is just they're struggling right now. They're struggling to bring in the talent that they need.
First year coach, though, right?
Yes.
First year coach. Came from the high school level, so he's adjusting. He's seen what it's like to play with the big boys. But his vision is to get top South Florida talent in there in FAU, so it's just a matter of time to see what he's gonna do. He knows everywhere to get top players. I'm quite sure he's gonna get his own coach and make it to where kids don't really want to leave home. I mean, FAU's a good school, nice area.
Oh, definitely. It's in that
Beautiful
that
campus.
Boca Raton area.
Yeah, man, you can
So
go over
very nice
there.
area.
Yeah, why not? They got facilities. State school is gonna be time before it gets to that point, but I would go play football at FAU.
I would too.
Why not?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I would pick the Power 3.
You have to
stay
pick
over
Power
them
3,
first, but
just in case, you know.
Oh, most definitely.
At FAU with the weather, the climate, what you eat in.
South Florida.
South Florida.
Gotta take it.
Free. You gotta take it. You gotta take it.
Then we have FAMU playing Delaware State.
Did they fire their coach yet?
FAMU did fire their coach.
I heard
They
about
actually
that.
fired him a couple of weeks ago. Earl Holmes is no longer the coach at FAMU.
Did they win yet?
I don't know if you remember me calling that
I remember
about a
that.
month and a half ago
This is documented.
because I didn't know what FAMU was doing on the field.
This was documented.
But they weren't winning.
No. Have they won yet since they fired?
They won 2 games straight.
Whoa.
And they won 2 games straight, but they're back to losing. They lost their homecoming game.
But after they fired him.
Yes, they actually won. They won 2 games. They won 2 games with him, and
With
he
him.
was fired the week of homecoming.
So they fired him after he won his only 2
And
games.
they lost the homecoming game to Norfolk State.
It must have been something personal.
You know what?
What was the score with the homecoming?
They only lost by 1 point. You know what? I think it was some friction between him and the AD, Kevin Winslow Sr. And they just...
Winslow Senior. Kellen from Miami? His daddy on FAMU staff?
athletic director.
Yeah, definitely friction over there.
So, you know what? I think maybe Kellen coming from playing for a top-notch program, playing in the NFL, maybe he just clashed heads because a lot of pride is there. You know, when you get a lot of coaches around, these are grown men. There's a lot of pride on the table. Don't get me wrong. Earl Holmes played in the NFL too.
Both did.
But you know what? Kellen Winslow is his boss. So
Definitely. That was a good pickup by Fam though.
yeah. So you
How
know,
did they do? I don't know how they pulled that off. Somebody knows somebody.
you know, I'm hoping it's not one of those things where Kellen wants to just start on a smaller level and work his way up. Hopefully he's in that. Hopefully he's in it for the long run to really improve their, you know, their athletics all around.
It'll be a nice thing to try to make happen. You know, that's interesting. That was nice to know right there. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
unfortunately for FAMU, I'm not really picking them to win against anybody right now because their football team is all over the place. Corey Fuller's their interim head coach, but you never want to have an interim head coach. It doesn't usually work out well.
Fuller that played for Florida State.
Yep, Corey Fuller,
Cornerback.
the one and only.
Still in Tallahassee. Okay.
So we'll see how things work out there, but unfortunately, until FAMU gets everything in order in the house, I can't run with them to win the game. But hopefully they'll make it competitive, and hopefully they can just move into next year, get a new head coach in place.
You
and
still
just
got to
go
play
from there.
Bethune this year, right?
Yes, Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman looks good. Bethune-Cookman's gonna win that game, unfortunately. You know, Bethune-Cookman is the same team that's beat up on FIU 2 years in a row.
Bethune coming.
So Bethune's playing some
Bethune
top-notch
coming.
talent.
And they're not showing no love to Fam.
Exactly. So
No love being shown right now. They coming to bring that pain. Understand that.
So, unfortunately, the Orlando Classic is probably not going to go too well, but maybe the Battle of the Bands at halftime will be
They
nice.
coming to bring the pain. They coming. They play Hampton this week.
Yeah.
You know, Bethune, the coach came down from Rutgers. Their program has improved tremendously. They've always had athletes. They've always had guys that go to the NFL. But right now, they're bringing a different type of guy, different type of structure over there. And Bethune is being consistent. And one thing, they are not losing football games. That's what unless they play like a Division I power, like when they played Florida State or Miami, they played us. And you know. But other than that,
and they lost to UCF this year.
But they're playing them. They're playing the big boys like, let's go. So, you know, they saying we playing with, and they getting the respect. That's how you get your respect.
But you know, one thing that Bethune-Cookman is doing this year that's key is they are bringing in these top talent that maybe gets kicked off of a top team,
Right.
a big Division I school, maybe goes the JUCO route, or they come to Bethune-Cookman and stay there for a year or two. So they're bringing these guys in. I remember their roster last year, and they had maybe 22 players that were transferred from big-time D1 schools. So you bring this talent in, and then you're playing against MEAC competition, you're going to beat up on them.
But some of the MEAC players, they've had other players, maybe not as many, but they've had guys that have been at other Division I schools and end up going to like a Tennessee State or something to that nature and causing havoc in the MEAC.
Most definitely.
You know, causing havoc. So there's a beast around on every corner now. So that's the interesting thing about that. So are they still in the playoffs right now? Or no? When do the playoffs start for the MEAC?
It hasn't started yet. They still, they're still running with the regular season. So we'll see how that plays out.
Bethune was ranked number 1 at one time, but at one time during the year, I guess they've taken a couple of L's from that point.
Yeah, but I think they still may be number 1 in the MEAC. I'm not sure. I think they may be.
But they need to do something in the playoffs, because every time they rank high in the MEAC, then the playoffs come around and something happens mysteriously. So some David Copperfield trick, Houdini has been pulled. And what happened to Bethune? It was ranked number 1. That's all I hear about. Them. We on the next season. Well, what happened?
Focus on the current season.
Yeah. We got to see what's going on. So we keeping our eyes on Bethune to see what's going on. Understand that definitely.
We have Southeastern versus Berry College. Now, I don't know a lot about Berry College's football team, but you know what? I have to give a shout out to my parents and my little sister. They're all alumni of Berry College.
Well, you know plenty about Berry College.
Yeah, it's up there in Rome, Georgia. I know it's a beautiful campus.
Really?
Largest college campus in the United States.
That big?
Massive.
What?
Thousands of acres. Beautiful campus. Parents actually went there. My little sister went there. My little sister would tell me about their football team and just say they're not good. They didn't even want to go to the games.
The football team don't want to go to the game.
Yeah, and their football team, I believe this is actually only the second year of their football team.
Or they just getting there.
Yeah, so they're just getting there. So, Southeastern's probably gonna blow them out, more than likely. But
Hey, it's a good campus.
you know what? If you're going, maybe they'll beat Berry College on the field, but Berry College will beat them in how nice their campus is compared to Southeastern.
But where's Southeastern located at?
Southeastern's over in Lakeland.
Yeah. So no, we're not having it. We're not having it. We're gonna send them with the L, and we're gonna go back to the country and keep living good. They're great campus, but we're gonna make sure we send them the L though.
Yeah, I definitely expect Southeastern to win that game, unfortunately.
Got to.
But
Polk County orders.
Southeastern will win the game. So, but right now we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with the predictions for the top 25.
You know how we do it, we have funky music in our ear. We get to writing, ain't no fighting, we just in there trying to win. Ooh yeah, la-di-da, we grinding hard. Ooh yeah, we not gonna stop. Yeah. Too late to turn back now. We got work to do. On a mission, by my business, I'm pushing through, no slacking. Make it happen, we grinding hard. We grinding hard. You know how we do it, we have funky music in our ear. We get to writing, ain't no fighting, we just in there trying to win. Ooh yeah, la-di-da, we grinding hard. Ooh yeah, we not gonna stop. turn back now. I got work to do. On a mission, by my business, I'm pushing through, no slacking. Make it happen, we grinding hard, we grinding hard. You know how we do when we have funky music in our ear. We get to writing, ain't no fighting, we just in there trying to win. Ooh yeah, la-di-da, we grinding hard. Ooh yeah, we not gonna stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Too late to turn back now. I got work to do. On a mission, by my business, I'm pushing through,